Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, and I have the pleasure to introduce my guest for tonight. I am joined with Dr. El-Sakka. He's the professor of IT and also a human development expert. I'd like to thank you very much for joining us, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me since this is a very pleasant and joyful, blooming day here. And yes, this celebrating day. I love it, yes.
Yes, absolutely. And today our coverage is going to be about the World Youth Forum. And we will head now, if you may allow us, to NILE TV's Taghreed Hussein. She's actually live from Sharm el-Sheikh Resort with the World Youth Forum. I'd like to thank you for joining, Taghreed.
Thank you very much, Sharif, and I salute you, and I salute your honorable guest. And as he has just mentioned with you, yes, it is a festive night. It's a glamorous night, Sharif, in Sharm el-Sheikh. Egypt is sending a message of peace from the city of peace. The whole world saw Sharm el-Sheikh tonight as very charming, a charming city that was festive tonight and celebrating this great performance and the presence of youth from all over the world. It culminated with a very important speech and an opener by His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, where he expressed his happiness that those youth from all over the world are in Egypt. He welcomed Egypt's guests and said that he was really proud of the enthusiastic youth of Egypt and their sense of keenness to achieve the aspirations of this nation. So the president stated that we're meeting to achieve this area of dialogue. It's a dream. Actually, he called it a dream of dialogue that the youth are actually opting for. And it was a sense of a link between the modern and what is history. Our ancestors had guarded us and had already guided humanity as a whole on the path of civilization. And today the youth are continuing the same sense of determination to eradicate any sort of extremist thoughts and to send a message of peace and hope to the whole world. The president said that Egypt today seeks to spread the culture of peace and stability to the world. So it was really a glamorous night, especially that we show as you shared that, Sharif, and your dear guest shared us seeing and watching and following the celebration, the opener that was really a hit on the TVs worldwide, and the headlines came how glamorous Sharm is tonight, how charming Sharm el-Sheikh is, with the World Youth Forum kicking off and the president giving the kicking off signal, sending himself a message of peace, prosperity, harmony and progress to the entire world. And he said that this is going to be built by the promising youth from all over the world.
Yes, Taghreed, I can sense a lot of positivity around and the atmosphere, and the diversity is obvious, you know, when it comes to the number of youth from more than 100 countries joining the World Youth Forum, as well as also the diversity of themes, you know, coming from culture to sustainable development and climate change and future leaders. So if you can shed some light about, you know, this diversity, richness within the forum.
Definitely, as you've mentioned, Sharif, richness is the core of this forum. This sense of diversity is really enriching that platform and allowing the youth to come and express their views and also recommend other initiatives to the decision makers and to the different influential figures who are present. So they are engaging with the top policy makers here. They are networking with each other also because they come from different parts of the world, and they are determined to create this sense of change that will be affecting the world that we live in today. This sense of engagement is going also to allow them more concerning exploring the rich culture of Egypt, exploring Egypt with its rich culture, with its heritage and history, whether it's ancient, whether it's modern. They are coming from different backgrounds. They're discussing global issues that and challenges that usually face youth all over the world. They are talking sustainability and planning for sustainable development goals. They are talking technology and also entrepreneurship. They are creating, through their own vision, out of that forum will come future leaders. And this is going to be quite evident later on when definitely they are going to, this forum is going to read through. So the communication with the teams is very important. recognizing each other's strengths and the potential that they offer. The motivating atmosphere here, Sharif, and how the youth are meeting and inspiring each other in order to meet the goals. You know, giving and receiving the feedback is very important. Resolving problems, trying to continually improve the processes. What is really interesting also when I talk to them is that those youth, whether from Egypt and the whole world, are thinking out of the box. They are thinking creatively. And that is really something very inspiring. They are inspiring others to act in accord with their vision, and they are communicating in the right direction to facilitate change. What is interesting too is that you find them meeting in teams, so they are discussing matters in teams and also through individual talents. So this will drive them actually to further achievements and to better performances. Sharif.
All right, thank you very much for joining us. That was Tagreed Hussein, Senior NILE TV's correspondent online, live from Sharm el-Sheikh with the World Youth Forum. And we're joining once again with our dear guest in the studio. We're joined with the Professor, Professor of IT and also Human Development expert. Once again, I'd like to thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me again.
We can feel, you know, the positive vibe, you know,
the positivity, the pleasure, that everyone's happy, and you can tell even if you are looking and watching the TV from here, the smiles of all faces, and this is not fake smile, commercial smile that we used to say. You know, there is a very big commercial smile, but this is the genuine smile that we missed it for a quite long time. And here we'd like to talk about the communication between these different cultures, different background, different way of thinking. It's very beautiful. Here, how to accept the others, because actually for this era or for the last few years, we've been against each other. And we would like to stress here, and we recommend that we'll have to communicate with each other. We have to talk with each other. This will never happen unless we'll have here a mutual understanding on the first place between the two parties, whoever may be. I mean, any two parties. I mean, because actually any network, it consists of of two. Yes, we can analyze this just for two pairs, as we say. Yes. And then we'll have to put this one, and then we'll have to collaborate as a second phase. The third one we have to develop, to have sustainable development. And that's what we are, this is our approach if we would like to develop any relationship, to stress upon the rapport, I mean, between us. Here we have to find this mutual understanding in the beginning, then we'll have to collaborate with each other. We have then after collaboration, and when we can develop ourselves, because learning is an endless process. And usually I keep saying, if you'd like to have a rapport with anyone, you have to respect, accept, and show importance. Let me talk about this point here. And this is actually what's happening around us. If we would like, we have to respect each other. This is by default, yes.
Yeah, this is one of the points that actually was mentioned by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and specifically for the youth part.
Yes, that's right. Actually, this is, I mean, it's a rule of thumb, as we say. It's a golden rule, or as we say. Here we have to start this by nature. We are respecting each other. Never mind, I mean, regardless of race, of color, of gender, of beliefs, of whatever, we have here to respect each other. This is number one. Number two, we'll have here to accept the other as he or she is. Here, it doesn't mean when I'm accepting you or you're accepting me, it doesn't mean that you are blaming me of what I'm saying, but at least you accept my opinion, my ideas.
The difference.
We accept the difference, because here the difference, and here the versatility between us, this is an added value for us, because as long as here we are different, it means it's more powerful. We are going to integrate with each other. We are going to have a comprehensive community. So we have to accept each other, whatever it may be. And then here, it's not enough, number one and number two, but you will have to show the importance of the other. And here, if we are talking about management and leadership, and there is some, misperception for some managers, they don't show the importance of their subordinate or employees. We always keep telling them, you'll have to tell him he is important, whatever may be his role in the system or the enterprise or the corporate. We have to tell them, this guy, he is doing something, otherwise he won't be motivated. He will lose loyalty here, and we are seeking for loyalty. Now we are seeking for loyalty between, this is the new generation, the future generations that we are planning, that are managing the future generations by this event, which is really, it's a genius event. I would say it's not only celebration for an opening, it reminds me something like festival, you know, but it was for musical festival and songs. But today it was that, and as you mentioned here, the positivity, the positive atmosphere. Here, people that are loving each other, because by nature we are in love with each other. If we start telling the others, I love you, we are in love, this will spread among all of us. But if we start with something else, we'll feel the negativism. So I see this is a very good success so far, that to get all these different, youth from different background, cultures, way of thinking, mindset, and all this, and to talk together, and this is the beginning of that. And we keep always telling our potential leaders, you have to know one of the 4 C's model that maybe I talked about, and I was going to repeat once again about this one. It's the main point, communication. How to communicate with others, how to express your views. And very simply, when we say I'm communicating with you, it means that I'm delivering my message to you in a way that you understand my message the way I understand. If you are going to understand the message in a different way, so there is no effective communication. And all what we are living, all what we are suffering right now, it's misperception, miscommunication with each other. So I see it's a golden opportunity right now for this promising potential youth to be together and sit together in our land, the land of peace here and civilization. And it's not only words, yes, it's true.
All right, let's move now to a short break and returning back with more. Stay with us.
بوجه رسالة لكل العالم. احنا هنا في مصر، كل المصريين بيسعوا فقط للسلام وللأمن وللاستقرار، بيسعوا فقط للبناء والتعمير. ومن هنا بنقول للعالم كله مهم قوي ان احنا نكون كمان حريصين على السلام. مهم قوي ان احنا ننبذ، نكافح، نرفض العنف، نرفض الارهاب. مصر كانت دايما ارض الحضارة، حاضنة الحضارة منذ اكثر من 7000 سنة، ومصر كانت دايما بتقدم السلام للعالم كله. الحضارة معناها الإنسانية، الحضارة معناها الازدهار، معناها النماء، معناها الرخاء. مصر كانت دايما بتقدم ده للعالم كله. والنهارده ومعايا شباب مصر العظيم اللي موجودين معانا دلوقتي، وحريصين ان احنا نجدد ونأكد رسالتنا، وبنوجه الرسالة دي لكل العالم اللي أتمنى إنه يسمع صوتنا، صوت مصر، صوت السلام وصوت البناء وصوت التعمير، وليس القتل والتخريب والعنف والإرهاب.
We invite you to be empowered by the need for change. We invite you to join us in an international youth dialogue to exchange our knowledge, experiences, and ideas at the National Egyptian Youth Conference held annually here in Egypt.
ثقافتنا عرفت كل الشعوب على الأرض يعني إيه يبنوا حضارة.
اشتغلنا على نفسنا،
جددنا الأمل،
بنسابق الزمن،
بنبني مجتمع مثقف.
مصر علمت العالم.
هنطور ثقافة أجدادنا وهنوصل الرسالة للعالم.
أنا مصري، أنا مصري،
أنا مصرية،
أنا مصري،
أنا مصرية.
علمها عبر بحرها ونورنا بيه العالم. أهلا بيك في مصر.
Welcome back, and joining us in the studio now is Dr. Sara Kira. She is the Professor of International Relations. I'd like to thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So there has been, significance important in having this gathering of youth together from different parts of the world together in Sharm el-Sheikh, the land of peace. I'd like to know from you a little bit about, this diversity of youth joining together in this amazing gathering.
I had the chance to watch a little bit before joining the program of the speeches of the young Arab people joining today's event, or the beginning of the conference. And I was really touched by a young man from Yemen talking about the importance of education of girls.
Yeah.
This is such a revolution, actually, in the Arab mindset. This gives really a very optimistic insight to the future, that we have young Arab men talking about the importance of girls' education. This is one thing. Another thing, we have very, very honorable examples of young Egyptian young ladies and gentlemen, and it's the right image we need to reach out to the world with this kind of young people. This is the kind of young people that will lead the future of Egypt.
Change the perception, gives the right image for
exactly, especially in the past 7 years, the perception that the whole world was getting about from the Arab countries in general, because we know
imperial,
terrorists, young children joining militias, horrible image.
Yes.
And today Egypt is leading this.
Yes.
So I'm really blessed to be Egyptian today.
Yes, and I think adding to this, Dr. If we looked at the aspect of themes, we discussed this earlier. There's a lot of insights about how they're going to be having the conversations and discussions around future leaders, sustainable development, and technology, and maybe that this is one of your fields. How do you see the outcomes? What should be the outcome for this gathering? Because this is a rich experience for those youth, monitored by government and head of states joining, their sides, trying to get some experiences also from the youth, and the opposite, vice versa. So, in your opinion and from your expertise, what should be the outcome of this gathering?
I would say here that on the first place, actually, that we are going to have here a common understanding of each other, exchanging new ideas. We'll have what we call a technological mindset by ending this session. As you know, we have 6 sessions, 222 participants, and most of them, they are one of these pillars. There are 5 pillars. One of the main pillars are technology and entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And one of the coming back to the theater and when they started, which I quote before coming here, as she did as well. The first one, the Yemen, he was number 2. Number 1, she was from Malawi. Yes, if you remember. Yes, she was a young lady. She changed her career, and she devoted herself to teach young people and children how to work in technology. You know, it's proud. I am proud of that. And she was talking and making comparison between, it's not Egypt, as you know, we have some pioneer in IT, and we had innovation and creation 3 weeks ago, this opening. And it was fantastic, actually. The boy that she talked about 2 cases only. One of them, the girls, and the second one, it was about a young boy. He was about, I think, 14 years old, and he started making, they were just teaching him website, and then he learned how to code, and even she said a very good statement, I loved it. She said here, Silicon Valley, it's not a physical, it's in our mindset. So we would like to find the Silicon Valley mindset in our minds. We would like to have a technological mindset. I like this way, because actually when we are talking about youngsters and talking about young people, about our future leaders, those who are going to drive these nations, if they are going to work together, to understand themselves, to drop the barriers between ourselves, they will love each other. Believe me, here is a wave of love that will be spread all over the world. I can tell that, as I start telling you in the beginning of this episode, here you can tell from the gestures, the body language, the waving, and everyone. He is proud of his country. At the same time, he is belonging to the whole world. And as they say here, the world is enough to contain all of us. We don't need, there is space for everyone. We don't need to say, to compare, to have a comparative study between ourselves. To be an intelligent, it doesn't make any harm for me. To be smart, it doesn't mean that I am dumb. No. We will have to raise our children, our generation in the future. You have your place, I have mine. We are complementing each other. We have to work all together. We have to communicate. We have to transfer our message. We have to collaborate with each other. And I remember, as we always sticking with what they call 4C model here, starting with critical thinking and decision making. This is number 1. Number 2, they're talking about communication, how to communicate with each other, to transfer, to talk with the other, to let him understand you. Number 3, how to collaborate, and the team working, and the 4th one, the creativity. I think that this forum is covering all these aspects and these 4C model for learning. This is an adopted model which is adopted for learning all over. That's what they call it, 21st century model for learning.
Yes, Dr. Sarah, I'd like to ask you a little bit about the